to see you. All right,
Everybody.
Chris, how you doing? All right, good, good, good. So welcome. How are you today?
You need a second? Okay, give us 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Karen is-
Very good. Did you find Jonathan? Yeah. What's wrong? No, I think he probably would.
What'd you do? I was. Ah, there we go.
You have ours.
I knew they used that. I don't use this.
Problem is they were synced to this other thing and I can't get them to unsync.
We good?
We do that. I don't use it. It's just.
It's very good. Okay, is everybody good?
You want to just pull it out? Okay.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming today. We wanted to bring the community up to date about a really significant arrest that we made this week associated with a serial rapist. And it is an extended investigation by our NOPD sex crimes unit that works on cold cases. And so as of this week, we are here to announce that we have arrested a 70-year-old man by the name of Robert Hamilton. He has a prior rape conviction from 1978, but through the advancements of DNA technology, he actually ended up being linked to 3 additional rapes. Those rapes occurred in the year of 1997, 2008, and 2013. I want to thank our cold case unit. You know, even though the cases are, many people think are forgotten, they're never forgotten, and we do continue to work them. And so I wanted to turn this over. I'm thankful that we have our district attorney here who's going to give a comment in a minute, but I want to turn it over as well to the Chief of Investigations, Chief Nicholas Garnon, to explain a little bit about this journey and how we came to this arrest. So Chief Garnon, if you'll take the podium and
Thank you, Superintendent.
go from there.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. So these cases actually came together because of a CODIS hit. Back in June of 1997, a woman was in the 400 block of Decatur where she met the offender, Mr. Hamilton. He brought her to the moonwalk where he subsequently sexually assaulted her. Fast forward to October of 2008, he met a woman in the 700 block of Decatur. Same kind of MO, he brings her to the moonwalk where he sexually assaulted her. And then in July of 2013, he met a woman in Jackson Square, told her that he had a place that she could stay and take a shower at. They walked to the moonwalk again in the 400 block of Decatur on the backside of the moonwalk and sexually assaulted her as well. In each of those cases, that survivor made a report, went to the hospital, underwent a very grueling sexual assault examination by one of our SANE nurses, and biological evidence was collected from them that was submitted into CODIS. However, Mr. Hamilton, despite the fact that he had a 1978 rape conviction, that was all pre-DNA. So his DNA was not in the CODIS system. So in April of 2025, Mr. Hamilton was arrested by NOPD for being a felon in possession of a firearm. As part of his booking process, fingerprint, photographed, and DNA was collected at the time that he was booked into the jail. And in August of 25, the NOPD cold case unit got a CODIS hit, which is basically a notification that says, hey, this person's DNA that was collected at their booking might match these 3 previous rapes that we were working. Our detectives, led by our detectives from the Special Victims Division cold case section that you'll see behind me, obtained a book of swab warrant to do a confirmatory hit. They went through the process of finding the old reports, when you start talking about cases that are almost 30 years old, it's not just like pulling up old reports and reading them. You got to do a lot of research to understand the context of those reports, to understand the survivor's status and whether that survivor still wants to move forward or is still locatable. Once they got all of that together, they went and found Mr. Hamilton, took a confirmatory DNA sample from him, sent it up to the state police, and our partners at the state police a few months later gave us the evidence that we needed to get an arrest warrant, and that was on August 14th. And then knowing that Mr. Hamilton had pending court dates for this felon with the firearms charge, the detectives went to court on August 17th and arrested him while he was attending court for his previous charge. I really want to not only just announce and recognize our detectives' very hard work on this, but I want the public to know, especially anybody that was sexually assaulted in that area during that time period, to take a good look at this individual. And if you have information about him, his whereabouts, his activities, or if you were a survivor yourself, to please contact our Special Victims Division, area code 504-658-5523. We are still going through a lot of cases that occurred in the Jackson Square Moonwalk area over that 15 or so year period to determine how active he might have been and whether we have other survivors out here. But we do believe that there are other survivors. So this is our call to them to say that your case has not been forgotten. Your day to seize justice is still here. We just need you to kind of help us flag whether there's other cases that might have been involving Mr. Hamilton and some of the horrendous crimes that he was committing. So with that, I'll turn it over to our district attorney, whose team will obviously be prosecuting this and who's a huge partner with us. And with that,
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everybody. This is a big day. This is just extraordinary police work. I want to specifically thank the extraordinary work done by the cold case unit. These are pending criminal matters, so it would not be prudent to discuss specific evidence. But what I can speak to, and what really deserves recognition, is the extraordinary work that got us to this point, that made this arrest, that did not give up on a cold case. I want to specifically thank the detectives who doggedly persisted with professionalism and with just remarkable stick-to-itiveness. They refused to accept that passage of time meant the end of the road. They followed every bit of evidence and helped breathe new life into these investigations. Their work reflects the commitment of NOPD Sex Crimes Cold Case Unit, the value of modern forensic tools, and the importance of looking at unresolved cases with fresh eyes and renewed determination. It also reflects a strong partnership between our two agencies, investigators and prosecutors working together to tackle our toughest cases. Cases of this age actually present very real challenges. As you just heard Nick describe, evidence must be carefully reviewed, records must be located and evaluated, and legal questions must be answered. The passage of time does not erase our responsibility to seek answers. It does not diminish the horrible experience of survivors or the impact on their lives or the lives of their families. And it cannot turn an unresolved case into a forgotten case. I think that's the true message behind Operation Twilight. When law enforcement agencies share information and make responsible use of modern forensic technology and remain committed to following that evidence wherever it leads, that progress is possible. Solving old cases is possible even after many, many years. Public safety has never been the responsibility of one person or one agency. It requires investigators, prosecutors, forensic professionals, victims advocates, and the community at large working together to share that commitment to seeking justice. We know there are other survivors that are still waiting for answers, and we cannot promise a particular outcome in unresolved cases, but we can promise that we will continue to do the work with urgency and with care on all of these cold cases. You heard Chief Gernon put out that clarion call. What we know about predators, people who prey on people when they're by themselves in vulnerable situations, is that they repeat that. So if you were a survivor of this man, if you know someone who may have been a survivor of this man, you don't need to make a decision about whether or not you think you can testify in court. But you need to contact the NOPD, and we'll take it a step at a time, or Crime Stoppers. If you have any information whatsoever surrounding this fact pattern, surrounding this period of time, we need you to come forward. Today's developments represent very meaningful progress, and it gives me, and I think any father of a daughter who goes to the court, who believes that she can sit on a park bench in safety, that gives me a reason for optimism. This work is not finished, but the partnerships between the OPDA and NOPD are stronger than they have ever been. Our commitment is quite clear, and together we will continue moving forward towards a safer New Orleans. I know there was a recent newspaper story on the excellent work of the homicide detectives clearing cases. You all need to turn your attention to the sex crimes and this cold case sex crimes unit too, because they're doing tremendous work that I believe is leading this country. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a few questions on topic. If you have anything off topic, just pull me aside after we're finished. That'll be the issue.
What would you say, you mentioned survivors coming forward, there is a stigma around that, sometimes people are kind of scared to speak up, so what would you say to just encourage them to come forward and kind of guarantee their safety?
Yeah, I'll go first. I do know that it's very, very difficult for survivors to come forward, and both men and women. And so there are people who are traumatized by it, and they are concerned to be re-traumatized. But that's also why we can help. We have social workers, we care, and we will do and treat our victims, our survivors, with the greatest of care and respect. And I know that's true for the DA's office as well. So please, though, we can help you, and we are here to help you. The media is as much of a partner to us as the community. So we do thank the media for reaching out to potential survivors out there. We know they're there.
Well, I just want to address that too. Jimmy Carter once said that crimes against women and children it's probably the biggest atrocity in America today, and it's because it's how they've been treated historically when they come forward and tell what happened to them. The thing that the public needs to know and any survivor needs to know is that this police department is leading the way in being trauma-informed and making sure that it is responsibly taking care of a survivor when they come forward, whatever their situation is. And my office is going to do everything it can in terms of helping people deal with that process, because we do realize with a cold case, you're reopening a wound that you may have closed the door on or thought you closed the door on. But knowing that your information could help us make sure that this man pays the price that he needs to pay, it's very important, because when people don't come forward, people are left in our streets to reoffend and prey on others.
Yeah. And before you take one more question from the public here, the media, I do want to say that sometimes survivors think that they did something wrong, and it's most important that you know that no one has the right to harm you. And so do not be concerned that you have done something wrong, okay? So survivors need to know that.
Box 8.
Chief, has the DNA from this individual been connected to any other cases not already listed here?
Not that I know of, but Chief Garland, can you speak to that specifically?
Not at this time, right? But obviously, that's why we're putting out this call, that if there are other survivors, because of the length of time and the advances in DNA from, just think about what DNA was in the mid-90s till what DNA is here and now, we're looking to see if there are other survivors or other cases that need to have a more in-depth review, or if there are other cases that need to kind of to be re-examined in light of what we know about Mr. Hamilton's actions.
And Chief, if you could expand on the timeline of either Chief, I suppose. The hit comes in 2025. You clearly do a lot of work to get to this point, but for a layman, can you explain, I have the DNA that connects this gentleman to this case, why couldn't we arrest him then, once we had that?
That's a great question. I'm really glad you gave us the opportunity. We get the CODIS hit in August of 2025. We do not arrest people based on CODIS hits. We actually have to physically find them and take another DNA sample from them to make sure that their DNA wasn't mixed up with somebody at the booking process, that there wasn't an issue with their previous collection. So we do a direct comparison. We call it a confirmation swab. So we get a search warrant, we find that individual, and then we do a confirmation swab to make sure, because, you know, the thing that we're going to accuse Mr. Hamilton for, the thing that we're going to hold him responsible for, the amount of time that he's looking at is significant, and these are very serious cases, and we do not want to obviously put the wrong offender in jail or give false hope to a survivor. So it takes some time to work through the process of not only finding them, retesting their DNA against that person's current profile, but also making sure that the standards of the 1997 tests were appropriate. That took some time for the lab to look at, like, with testing results and processes they used in 97 to make sure that they were still today's standards, and then to just do the research of finding the files, finding the documents. This is not something where you just type an item number into a computer and it pops up. When you're talking about 30-year-old files, you have to physically go to some old archives and find those old files and then find those survivors and make sure that they are comfortable with us moving forward before we would seek an arrest warrant. And from the time we put an arrest warrant out till the time we arrested him, we got a warrant on Friday, we arrested him Monday morning when we knew he would be in court. So we knew that he would not have access to weapons, we knew that we would not have to knock on his door and endanger anybody else. Instead, we decided to take him down in a safe and secure environment.
Channel 4. Nothing. 26.
Is that a CODIS hit something that happens automatically whenever there's DNA taken?
Yeah, you want to talk about CODIS?
Yeah, you could,
So,
and explain to them what
Yep.
CODIS even means.
So CODIS is
Some
an
people don't know.
FBI database, combined online DNA information system. It is a database where offenders' DNA and scene DNA could be taken from a survivor, from a rape kit, from bedding, from what have you. And they're put into the same system, and then it's matched up using the various DNA markers that we use to identify DNA. So the system's constantly running, and whenever a new entry is made into CODIS, either from a scene or from an offender, like in this case, Mr. Hamilton was arrested in 2025 for being a felon in possession of a firearm. His DNA was taken at booking, and there are certain crimes that automatically get your DNA taken at booking, and then that DNA gets uploaded to CODIS. It gets processed by a state police crime lab, uploaded, and then it makes a match. It says, hey, this person's DNA might match to this crime scene. Now go find them and do a confirmatory hit.
Missy?
Oh, yes, the sex crimes unit has historically struggled with clearance rates. I was wondering what the clearance rate is now and why it has been so difficult to close these kinds of cases.
Do you want to speak to that, or do you have the numbers,
Yeah.
or do you, Lieutenant, or any of you, how about you, Captain, do you know? If not, but the chief can help come. This is our captain over the sex crimes unit.
At the present time, our clearance rate is sitting at approximately 20%. But the difference between NOPD and other jurisdictions is that we take all sexual assault complaints that don't occur in the parish. Anyone who comes here, our goal at NOPD is not to clear cases, but it is to clear cases, but what we want to do, our priority is the survivors and ensure that we offer them the services that they need, and that is what we do in our unit. That's why we have social workers that reach out to survivors immediately, and they offer them services, therapy, whatever they may need, rehousing. So that is our priority. So that is why, where you may go to another jurisdiction and they say, okay, next, we actually listen to them, and those outside victims, we still offer them services as well, because every survivor is important to the police department.
How many detectives does the sex crime unit have, and what's their caseload?
The sex crimes unit is comprised of approximately 12 detectives at this time. We would always love to have more, but you know, we have a manpower issue right now. And their caseload, the national average is 26. Our detectives, their caseload is approximately 86 at this time.
86?
Yes.
So that's a direct link to a staffing, okay? So when we talk and say to the community, we have staffing issues and challenges, It's a direct example. Our detectives, not only in sex crimes, but in homicide and so forth, all of our detectives carry caseloads that are inordinately larger than the national average.
And Missy, just to put that in context, clearance rates on sexual assaults across the country are low. They are also underreported. Most people don't even come forward. These are the most difficult cases to investigate and the most difficult cases to prosecute. We're a port city, we're a destination city, so that means these sorts of crimes are happening more in a place like the city of New Orleans, where we are undermanned, underwoman across all agencies, right? So this department is actually taking on more work with less people than other jurisdictions, given the nature of New Orleans.
Okay, thank you all for coming in.
All right, thank